realize Claude was the man in charge.
Oh, it didn't take long. I knew that before arrival. Well,
You know, having to go through all this off-season stuff, you were able to watch it from afar, but a little different when you're watching and when you're doing it for the first time. And you about ready to get back to football?
absolutely. I'm ready for football. I think if they could play football year round, I'd go for that. You know, it keeps you preoccupied, keeps you busy, your mind's in the right place, and you focus on the things that matter a lot more than the things that don't. I think in season, out of the season, you get a lot more distractions, and you can easily lose focus. The players can too. So I think I'm ready to get back to it.
What has it been like for you, though, to go through it for the first time?
It's been unique. It's been some different situations. Some of it's been exactly the same. Again, I think I've said before, May was probably the most different thing for me in that I wasn't out recruiting in May. So it was a different aspect. These events have been a little different because I did these on a much smaller scale at the University of Alabama. But I'm past all that. I'm ready to get going for the season. You know, we're 40 days away and fired up.
Who's going to have a harder time sleeping the night before the game, the players or you?
I don't know. I would think me, because I think the players will be prepared, confident, ready to go. I think with myself there'll be a lot of anxiety, just excited about getting out there and doing it and representing my alma mater in our state. You know, that's the excitement for me. But I think for the players, it'll be business as usual for them. They're excited. A lot of those guys they're rip roaring, ready to go now. You know, and we just gotta control that enthusiasm and make sure we use it in the right direction.
You have a big game as your season opener. How are your star running backs? Are they prepared? Are they going to be healthy to start that game?
Yeah, I think that's yet to be determined, and it's going to stay that way for quite a while until we get through at least the first and second scrimmage. You know, Sony is rehabbing hard, trying to get back out there, and limited probably more than Nick right now, where Nick is doing everything he can do, and that's pretty much. He's back to his normal self when it comes to running, cutting, exercising, but he hadn't put pads on, hasn't taken a hit, he hadn't taken that knee brace off yet. So there's a lot of hurdles when it comes to that for Nick gaining confidence. But certainly Sony it'll be a week by week progress with him.
Kirby, can you speak to Mirko Djokovic? I understand he might not be part of the team anymore due to injury.
Yeah, right now it's not finalized yet. You know, Mirko's sending appeals for a medical. We have not received that back yet, so we're still in the process. The doctors have advised him that long term, medically for him, it would be better for him to put football down and focus on being a student and get his degree. Because the long term prognosis is not great for his.
Yeah, two surgeries.
Correct. And to be honest, I'm not sure where the paperwork is yet. I just know it's not finalized yet, but it's headed that direction.
Coach, any thought already in terms of who gets the first team reps at quarterback to start off camp?
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot, but basically we'll be very similar to the way we were in the spring in that a lot of people go with the first team. You know, Bryce and Grayson will both share those reps as well as Jacob rolling in because we practice in such a way that sometimes our 1s and 3s are on the field, 2s and 4s are on the field, and sometimes 1s and 2s and 3s or 4s. So it'll be so much mixed and matched that I think everybody's going to be kind of equitable and through at least the first scrimmage, and then try to make some decisions after that. We're trying to get those reps right around 33% with each guy and get as much balance as we can.
Do you try that like on a daily basis where you go one guy that day, the next guy the
We
next?
did that in the spring, and that's where we're planning on going in the fall, but that can change after day one. That can change before day one. You know, we're not putting anything in stone, so there's no set exact number of reps each guy gets. It's going to be more about how each guy's progressing, what they need, what the receivers need, where those quarterbacks need to rotate to. But it's not something that's going to determine the outcome. That's going to be determined primarily by how they perform and how they perform in scrimmage-like situations.
Kirby, some of the recruits were tweeting out photos of black jerseys. Are you guys planning on wearing those this year?
We'll see. We'll see where that goes. It's nothing that's been finalized yet. And I think that there's a lot of energy around that and excitement, but I've always been one that the energy and excitement should be focused on who you're playing, not what you're wearing.
On back on quarterbacks, is there any do you go in with any preference for a time that you know who or what you're going to do in the opener, whether it's start one guy or
yeah, I'd like to say have two of, but I mean it may change. You know, I mean, we're not going to sit down and put anything in concrete and say this is what we're doing a month out, 30 days out. Obviously, when we get to a week of a game, the first game, we would like to know who that is, and we would would like the reps to be balanced that way. But to say that is unjust, because I don't know what's gonna happen between now and then. So we're speaking in kind of a theoretical world when we say that.
Any of those three really surprised you from reports you've heard from players or strength and conditioning guys throughout the summer?
Not really. I mean, to be honest with you, all three of them are really working hard, got good reports in that regard. We're able to go out there now and work out with them as far as the actual on-the-field workouts, and they're hopefully, again, establishing more mobility by stamina, quickness, and all three of them can work on that. And we've challenged all three of them to be more mobile guys, to be able to move around. But that's the only thing we can tell right now, because we're out there with them.
I saw a report that you guys had Ray Rice come in and talk to the team. I just want to know, was this the message and why was it important for you to have?
Yeah, he hasn't actually spoken to the team yet. He's in today. He's going to visit with them, and we're trying to use every education piece we can with our players. Obviously, he's very good at speaking to a group from the experience. He's talked to others. I've had people call and tell me he's a really good resource, not only as the domestic violence bit, but just as being a player in general. College athlete, successful pro athlete, who's now looking to do things after that if he doesn't make it on a team this year. It was really vital for us to get him in now, because he's probably going to be in a camp. So his message can kind of cross a lot of genres, and I'm excited to have him in. I got to visit with him today, but he's going to visit with the team tonight.
Coach, Fan Day has a different concept or a different element this year. The public is allowed to watch the practice. Can you talk to me about that change up, and what do you hope the fans get from it, as well as you as a coach and the
Well, we
players?
figured we would open it up to you guys, since the fans could come, and we'd make it more generous, and you guys would be a lot nicer to us since we did that. But somehow, I don't know if that's going to equate. So it was all Claude's idea. We can credit Claude with it. And he was fighting really hard for you guys. So we thought that we would give you all kind of a different viewing. But that's kind of the way I've done it in the past. And to be honest with you, that's what I'm comfortable with. When it comes to our fans, I want them to feel comfortable with our players, get around our players, get to meet our players, get to watch them practice. And that's just kind of a new way of doing it.
Kirby, with on the Ray Rice thing, obviously with everything that happened at Baylor, that's been in the news. What do you have? Are you going to have a policy on if a player hits a woman or is accused of hitting a woman and whatnot?
Yeah, we basically have an outline for our university. I'm not going to refer you to Claude on that. Claude's we got a standard policy we follow as a staff, but it's not outlined to say, obviously we don't want our players hitting women, okay? Obviously we don't condone that behavior. We've got to educate our players in a way that doesn't happen, but we don't have anything laid out stipulated. We've got a process we go through as an athletic department as a whole, and we've all had that brought to our attention. Now, even before we went to the head coach's deal down in Dustin, it's a hot button topic, so everybody's aware of our policies as a university as a whole.
Kirby, you had said that Jonathan Ledbetter suspension could be more than 2 games. I know you said in ESPN that when you were in Bristol that the decision could surprise everybody. What exactly might you mean?
Well, basically we'll find out as it goes along. It's not a set determined number as of right now. It's a situation that's kind of fluid and moving, and it's more important to me that you guys would ask about how's Jonathan doing.
Sure.
Because nobody asks that. The only question I get everywhere I go somewhere is, what's Jonathan's suspension going to be? I'm waiting on one of y'all to come up and say, how's Jonathan doing?
How's Jonathan doing?
Jonathan is doing really good. Jonathan is not with the team right now. He's going to see specialists. He's getting help, and that's important to me. Jonathan's not even working out with the team right now. He's not doing anything with the team. That's what's more important to me than how many games he gets suspended at the end of the day. And I wish that could be the focal point instead of what is his punishment? What is his punishment? How many games is he suspended? Let's don't talk about that. Let's talk about what's good for Jonathan.
You've mentioned a couple times your concerns about lack of size, especially on the lines. Does that force you and Mel and maybe Sam to coach differently, scheme differently, as you guys have been looking at video in the offseason?
As far as what could force us to do that?
The lack of size on your lines. You mentioned that.
I don't think we can coach differently. I think, we've gotten stronger in the weight room. We're going to use that to strengthen at the point of attack, move people. If you're stronger, you can hopefully move them. And at the end of the day, we're going to be a physical run team. We've got to try to move people. And that's our goal, is to not get moved on defense and to move people on offense. So it's not a special kind of coaching. No, it's toughness, effort, and doing that the right way. And obviously recruiting size is going to help do that. But that's something that comes over time.
Will there be anybody that who's an O-lineman now that could get a look on D-line?
Yeah, we're looking into it. I don't know right now. It's gonna be more of a depth issue and numbers issue, where that may be our 13th or 14th D lineman may have to come from the O-line, where it may be a walk-on candidate, and maybe he was the 18th or 19th O-lineman. He's gonna be the 13th or 14th D lineman, but we haven't determined that yet, but we are definitely exploring that, because I'm concerned about reps in practice and getting through practice and depth and goodness. God forbid we have an issue in camp, somebody getting injured on the O-line or D-line, but we would have to shuffle those guys and move them around. So we're looking at a couple of O-linemen.
Not a scholarship, 370-pound guy from Jacksonville.
I don't know that anybody could go up there and help us right now.